Welcome to The Hypnotist, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. Brought to you by the hypnotherapist demanded by celebrities, CEOs, and even royalty, Adam Cox. These recordings took place live from Adam's clinic in London's world-famous Harley Street. This podcast features powerful hypnosis, so do not listen while driving or operating machinery. This recording is not suitable for those with epilepsy or severe mental health issues. So, get yourself comfortable and enjoy today's episode of The Hypnotist.
Hello, it's Adam here, and in this episode of The Hypnotist, I'm going to be doing a hypnosis session using a metaphor of a pressure cooker. And I think people have naturally learned to use this metaphor, even if they're not hypnotherapists. I've overheard certainly conversations where people say, look, unless you release what's going on, you're going to blow a gasket or something like that. There's this idea of building up pressure, blowing a fuse, things like that, where there's this idea that over time things accumulate. And unless that pressure is released, there is this kind of idea that it could lead to a breakdown or some kind of dramatic trauma. In fact, one of the theories of trauma is over time throughout life, shitty things happen. Horrible things can happen. And many times these things aren't resolved or dealt with in such a way to release the emotion from them. And then what happens is they kind of stack up on each other. So if you imagine a pressure cooker, and if you've never seen a pressure cooker before, just kind of create an image in your mind of almost some kind of large, almost kind of like a saucepan, but kind of sealed, because that's where the pressure comes from. The heat comes from below, and then the pressure builds up. And and obviously the hotter it gets, the more pressure builds up over time. Now just imagine within your own life that there's probably over the years lots of things that have happened. And unless you work in the area of mental health, or unless you've got good mental well-being practices, what could happen is that these kind of build up and they accumulate. A good example is road rage. If you've ever witnessed someone absolutely losing their mind because someone's just cut out in front of them or slammed on the brakes a bit too hard, to the extent that they've got out of their car and challenged the driver, how realistic is it that it was just that thing and nothing else that led to that? I would say what's more likely is that there has been lots of other things which mean their tolerance for just one more thing is very shallow. And then that's why it looks like there's full-on rage, there's full-on extreme response. As I was thinking about this, it actually reminded me of a movie back from the 90s called Falling Down with Michael Douglas. And you've got this kind of regular guy, he's kind of a suit wearing, briefcase carrying kind of executive. And then basically one day he loses it to the extent that there's a famous scene, you can find it on YouTube, where he goes into a fast food restaurant, orders a breakfast, and they let him know that the breakfast finishes at 10 a.m. And he looks at the clock and it's 10:01. And he very calmly says, well, look, it's only a minute ago, you could just make me the breakfast. And then they say something like, no, sorry, sir, that's our policy. And then that one thing means that he starts shooting up the whole restaurant, with an assault rifle. The point I'm making, though, is that that's relatable from the point of view that it's very unlikely in anyone's world that whatever the thing is that sends someone over the edge probably isn't everything. And therefore, I think it's very relatable to everyone, that things accumulate. So the purpose of this hypnosis session is a tool to release the pressure, to allow all of that built up stress, trauma, anger, whatever it might be, can be released. And in doing so, what it does is creates a much deeper level of resilience, so that if things happen in your life, rather than it being really shallow and it can send you over the edge, it can just kind of go into this kind of pressure cooker with no pressure in it. So even if it builds up the pressure a little bit, you've got that tolerance to handle whatever that thing is. So this will be good, I think, for anyone dealing with stress, overwhelm. There is many theories that a lot of autoimmune issues are a consequence of this kind of overworked, overwhelmed, kind of thinking, where anything can kind of set someone over the edge, and there's lots of different autoimmune issues. So if you can relate to any of this, I think you might find value from this session. Obviously, this is generic. If I'm working direct with someone, it's going to be tailored, customized to the individual, and then calibrated throughout the session so that I can check how it's working and check for non-verbal signals. So if you feel this is useful, but you want something a bit more bespoke, there will be a link nearby to this recording where you can book a free 30-minute consultation call. I can just explain how I work and what the costs are and those kind of things. But for now, you might not need that if you can get value from this more general hypnosis session. So find a quiet place where you won't be disturbed, relax, and enjoy the session. Take a deep breath in, and as you breathe in a feeling of resourcefulness. And as you exhale, I want you to get a sense that you're becoming aware of any feelings, perhaps of tension, stress, or overwhelm in your body. And now is not the time to release them. Now is the time to scan your body to figure out where any of these feelings are. There might be clues within your life for feeling stressed. Maybe it's in your jaw that the muscles are tense. Maybe it's twitches, perhaps, somewhere on your face, maybe around your eyelids. There might be clues as you breathe in and breathe out that maybe over the last few days or weeks, you've become increasingly aware that things aren't as they could be. Continue to breathe in and breathe out and just gradually allow your body to relax. Not because it's necessary, but just because it feels good to relax. And I want you to get a sense of what pressure is. I want you to think back to those times in the past of the Industrial Revolution when they figured out how to create steam power by forcing hot, perhaps water or even air, into pressurized chambers. They were able to create powerful machines that could lift heavy loads. These were the machines in factories, in trains. They could carry people hundreds of miles simply by creating pressure in small spaces. And I want you to get a sense that what if your body was like one of those pressure chambers? And it doesn't matter what you're thinking. You might be thinking of a pressure cooker. You might be thinking of some kind of engine in a car. But you get a sense that through hydraulics and through the mechanics, in order to create energy, heat quite often is used to build up the pressure in a confined space. And as you let that idea just circulate around your mind, I want you to get a sense that perhaps over time, one thing perhaps built on another thing. Maybe it was something to do with work. Maybe it was something to do with relationships or money, but just one problem built on another problem, and it built on another problem. Or maybe just a stressful life event. Nobody said life was going to be easy, but maybe they didn't say it would be this hard. And as you start to think about the difficult things that have gone through your life, I want you to scan your body for where it feels like that pressure is building up in you. You know where it is. Sometimes it's there in the chest. Sometimes it feels like it's on the side of the head in the temple. Maybe deep in the gut. Wherever it is for you is what's important. And I want you to feel where you feel that pressure. But first, I want you to imagine something dropping on your head. Perhaps something light, like a leaf, or some form of energy, and I want you to get a sense. Just imagine it. Imagine this feeling going from the top of your head. Just imagine it now, only imagine, feel that imagination, and as you imagine, feel that hypnosis travel down your skull, down your spine, down your arms, into your body. And I want you to go to a mystical place, a magical place, a special place, a powerful place. And while you're there, just let it go. Let it go now. Find that space inside you where it feels like pressure has been building up. And I want you to imagine that we're able to release that pressure now. Just let it go. I want you to go back to a recent time where you felt highly stressed, highly overwhelmed. Because we're going to keep revisiting these moments to try and build up the pressure just to release it. Maybe it was a traumatic moment. Remember where you were the last time you felt that pressure inside you. What did you see? What did you hear? What did you say? Feel like you're in that moment right now and feel that pressure in that location. That's it. And then feel like it's coming out of your body. Not too far, but just somewhere maybe half a meter outside of your body. And just get a sense. Get a sense that there in this place, You're able to release that pressure now. I want you to get a sense that it feels good to let go of that pressure, to release it. And then think of another moment, maybe a highly stressful event. Maybe it was an argument. Maybe the trigger was seeing a bill or something like that, but I want you to go into that moment. Feel like you were there back in that moment, seeing what you saw, hearing what you heard, feeling it. And just get a sense that pressure is located, maybe in the same place, maybe in a different place, but wherever it is, feel like you're grabbing it from wherever that location is and just pulling it out of your body. Almost so you can see it, feel that pressure, maybe in the palm of your hand. And here in this mystical place, this magical place, this place that we call hypnosis, you're able to let go of that pressure. And sometimes it's good to imagine that if it feels like this pressure is spinning, and you'll know if it is spinning or pulsating or moving in some way, just imagine and maybe use your hand as a reference that it's going in the opposite direction, just as fast, if not faster. So whatever pressure has built up, just imagine that you're able to release that pressure by rewinding that pressure, by doing the opposite of whatever created that pressure. And notice that it does that. Your neck and shoulders start to relax. You breathe deeper. As the pressure gets released, your body language changes. And it feels good. It feels really good to just let go, let it go, and let it go now. Each and every time you hear this recording, you'll go back to a different stressful or traumatic or overwhelming event. You'll be able to feel how you felt at the time, trying to access that feeling of pressure and stress, but then you're able to take it out of your body. Maybe spin it the other way around, maybe just take that feeling outside of you and just let it turn into snowflakes that just fall on the ground. But in doing so, you're releasing the pressure that's been building up perhaps over weeks or months or even years. And in doing so, you're creating more capacity inside you to be more resilient, so that when the next stressful or tough thing comes along, you feel like you can handle it, that you've got the capacity to manage it well. I want you to now think of something entirely different. I want you to think of your telephone number backwards. Just say it to yourself inside your own head. And in doing so, maybe you have to make pictures of numbers in your mind's eye, or maybe you just say the sound of it. Maybe you imagine it written down and then just read it backwards. Or whatever you do, you're accessing the logical part of your mind. And in doing so, now when you think back of those moments that cause pressure, notice that they don't seem so bad. And I want you to try and feel the pressure you once did, and just notice that it's just less than it was before. And I want you to get a sense that somehow you're turning down that pressure. And as the pressure goes down, your personal resilience increases, giving you the ability to walk a little lighter, be a little less stressed, smile just a tiny bit more, breathe just a tiny bit deeper. Because when the pressure goes, you sleep better. When the pressure goes, you start feeling healthier, you start making better choices. A lot of those bad behaviors, they weren't really a choice. You were just trying to cope with all that pressure that was building up over time, but now that the pressure has been released, you don't need the same things that you were doing to cope. So you can drink a bit more water, sleep a bit deeper, rejuvenating deep sleep, and you can just enjoy your days that little bit more, knowing that day by day you are releasing more of that pressure. Each and every time you listen to this, you're releasing more of that pressure until there is no pressure. And when that day comes, everything will seem just a little bit nicer. You'll notice the sounds of birds in the trees that were always there, you just didn't notice them before. You'll notice things like the blueness of the sky, the sun on your face. When certain songs play on the radio or around you that just seem a bit happier, you'll connect with that energy. It will require more effort from other people to push your buttons or wind you up because the pressure has been released. Feel how good it feels to have released that pressure now. And imagine that for the next few hours and perhaps days, you'll experience the world just slightly differently. And then you realize that this is just a way of thinking about all these things you've built up over time, and now it feels like you've released some of that pressure. It's time to go back to what some people would call reality. Only you will return to reality feeling more resourceful, more resilient than you have in a long time. Imagine that you're back now in your body, listening to my voice. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes. Get a sense that you're there in the present, listening to my voice right now. Because in a few seconds I will count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. You will feel resilient, resourceful, feeling that you can breathe, you can live, and you can just get through life a little easier. Starting to count to awaken you. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.
Thank you for listening to The Hypnotist with Adam Cox, the show that gives you inside access to cutting-edge hypnosis with real clients facing genuine issues. To automatically receive the latest episodes, please subscribe. If you'd like to support the show, please share this episode with just one friend you think it could help. And if this episode helped you, please leave us a 5-star review.